Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the 120. I am stalling 7th episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. 'Tis I, Colton Robertson, and this is the season 1 finale of the Bad Batch bitches. For I am not alone. I am not the only bitch. We are the bitches 4. I am joined by Joseph George. What is up, homie?
I, bitch Joe George, am here as well. Glad to be checking in.
That is one Bad Batch bitch. I am also joined by Miles Buttress. What's up, homie?
I'm happy to be bitch number 3 of the bitches 4. I'm happy to be here.
The bitches 4. I can't believe I came up with that on the spot. That was my favorite part of what I think that might be my second favorite thing we've ever said on this podcast. Slotted right behind Control Me Daddy. And bitch 4 of the bitches 4. Kyler Barnett, K. Beezy. What is up, homie?
Not much.
Let's talk about this season 1 finale of the Bad Batch, titled Kamino Lost, written by Jennifer Corbett. I am satisfied. Beyond it, even. If you play this back to back with part 1 of the finale, which is they make it clear this is part 2 of 2. This isn't meant to be viewed in and of itself. In and of itself, it may be underwhelming as the last week for a finale, I think. But in conjunction, it's a solid finale. Like, more than that. It has everything that makes Star Wars Star Wars. We got a droid sacrifice. We've got an Imperial who's just an Imperial, apparently.
You got Joe being totally 100% right as taking their baby pods as vehicles to escape. I literally
fucking believe it. Dude, Joe joked last week on the podcast that they would jump in their baby pods and use them as vehicles. And then they fucking jumped in their baby pods and used them as vehicles.
I love that we have no other name for these besides baby pods.
I feel like I have to be right about Ultron now. But I'll let that one slide. Okay. I'm just letting you guys know, like, I'm releasing little bits of knowledge at a time. I do it in a joking manner, so like it seems that I don't know it, but whatever.
Whatever, I know.
But the one thing I do have against this episode, if I have anything, is we started season 1 and we ended the first episode. That first episode was phenomenal. Everyone was like, wow. I don't know. I wasn't expecting it from the first episode out of this series. I'm like, wow, that was great. And we ended with, the split of, Crosshair and the Bad Batch. And, and now at the end of the season,
we are in the exact same spot.
We literally are in the same exact spot. Maybe Crosshair's thinking about it a little bit more, but we're in the same spot. Nothing has really changed.
We're in the same spot.
I think
there's
this
a lot
season,
of shit that's gone down in this season.
This season was just to introduce the characters and have a good season of Star Wars, and I'm okay with that. I think that's just what this season was. We started and ended with what we got, and I'm okay with that. I loved waking up, Friday mornings and just watching these as cartoons. Sheesh. Sorry.
That lighting hitting Kyler right now. I mean, god damn.
Boy's glistening over there.
But no, Joe, you're absolutely right. I think that, mostly you're right. I do think that we have gained and like you said, it was for the characters. We gained a deeper appreciation of everybody involved. Kyler, what's up?
What I want to say is while we may, like, I get what Joe's saying a little bit about the characters and, like, their plots, like, there's still lots of room and not much has changed, like, especially in the Crosshair thing. Like, I get what he's coming from, but at the same time, I think what I appreciate so much about this show, like, in terms of what we get, is, like, we're seeing some of the most intriguing things, at least in my opinion, from the Clone War era. Like, we're seeing this stuff transition. This is something, like, we haven't seen it on, unfold, like, on a TV or movie since, like, Kamino, like, think about that. Like, we saw that in the Attack of the Clones all those years ago, and now we just watched it totally fall. Like, it no longer exists. Like, Nala Se is, like, the only remaining, like, obviously you have clones, but, like, if we're assuming, like, you're talking about a whole, like, system just gone. Like, you're talking about Kamino, like, a whole...
I suppose some things have changed.
Well, and, like, my thing is, like, understanding that Kamino falling is essentially, like, the last building block that propels the Empire into, like, okay, we're really getting shit rolling. Like, we don't know, we never knew that. Like, this is all new stuff for me. I find that intriguing, and I've said this before in the show. I love the, like, or maybe I said this about Clone Wars, but I love, like, the war stuff, like, when it talks about, like, maybe not just strategy, but, like, understanding, like, how this unfolded, like, how these victories take place, and, like, what, if I'm making sense.
No, absolutely. Like, I remember, like, learning about the purpose of the Separatists, like, towards the end of the war, just to wreak havoc so that the Empire could take over. These logistics of the galaxy are a great deal of fun. For a hardcore Star Wars fan.
And it's like, it's been super interesting watching how fast the Empire took over. Like, I don't know. I don't really think, like, whenever we saw Order 66 in the movies, like, I don't think we really fully because, like, we were just focused on freaking Anakin and Obi-Wan, obviously. Well, like, we weren't really thinking what was going on in the galaxy.
It shows some Order 66 and then jumps to, like, we get, like, a good, like, 3 minutes of Order 66 and then it jumps to fights between Jedi and Sith. And so we don't really, care anymore about Order 66. That happened, done with, move on.
So now we're getting like, oh, hey, the Empire's everywhere across the entire galaxy, and you have to have a chain code now. You have to be numbered, and literally, like, there are clones everywhere. We're military everywhere. Like, within just, like, seconds, it seems.
What I'll say is, like, seeing Kamino go down like it did at the hands of the Empire, like, think about how we've seen them, like, the whole Death Star plot is to literally just reduce planets to fucking nothingness. And we've seen it happen a handful of times. I mean, at least, like, once or twice, 3 times. I don't know the exact number. We've seen it, though. But, like, to understand that this is kind of the first block to fall for them, like, this was kind of their first, like, fucking shit up experience. Like, I think
this was the first time they decimated a colony to our knowledge.
This was like their first victory lap.
I think that's pretty fucking cool to, like, learn that, but that's just me, especially since it's, like I said, Kamino, like, just the gravitas.
This is like what won them the war. This would go down in history as, like, the last big event.
Yeah.
That would be like, okay, this is when the Empire took over.
Yeah, it's yes, not a lot has happened. Kind of continuing on what we were talking about, between and where the relationships between, like, the Bad Batch and, like, Crosshair is, since they're still split up, and that's how we're ending it. But we haven't gotten a lot of development there. We've gotten a lot of development in seeing how that interaction's going, actually happening, but then also in seeing a bunch of getting a lot more information on stuff that we've only gotten little tidbits throughout the rest of, whether it be movies, other TV shows, video games, stuff like that, where we've gotten little hints of, Project, what's the...
War Mantle,
stuff like that, little drops in, like, Rogue One and other stuff where we've gotten little hints of, well, here's what happened. And so we've only been able to, up to this point, just kind of fill in the gaps of, well, we know Kamino's clearly no longer there, so something happened to it, but who knows what happened?
And I want to build on that thought process right there about how historically Star Wars has done this very thing, where they've planted a small seed, and then they're like, y'all know that was important. We will tell that story another time. And I think like the theory that somehow Palpatine returned is a line that set up an entire fucking line of Star Wars shows, potentially, maybe, if that's what it all ends up being about. Because, I mean, heading to Mount Tantus at the end of this episode, taking Nala Se, and in Legends, Mount Tantus is where they clone a Jedi. I mean, damn. Like, it feels like that's the route we're headed a little bit. Like, it's like, I don't know, man.
To where at the very least, I don't think in Mount Tantus at least we'll ever get, here's, a clone of Palpatine that turns into Snoke or whatever. But what we will get is we'll see them clearly working on cloning Force sensitive people that will eventually, Palpatine or whoever else will come in and be like, mine, thank you very much. I'm taking this shit to Exegol where I can go fuck with it and do stuff that you could never even think of, because clearly no one knows what's going on Exegol. So it clearly, there's clearly another step between Mount Tantus and then Exegol, because something has to happen in between that for him to be like, all right, this is far enough where I'm going to take this, keep it top secret so no one has a fucking clue about it. And then whenever I introduce Snoke, everyone's going to be like, who's he?
Yeah, this episode really cleared things up in terms of like direction, in ways that I didn't anticipate. Like, it feels like more than ever, that's where we're headed. Like, inevitably, it's answering that question. Somehow Palpatine returned, and I think that's dope.
So what I love about that so much is, like, to me, that, like, any show that Star Wars is gonna, like, Disney and Star Wars that's gonna come out, that is gonna deal with what you're talking about, if that would be the case, if that's where we're headed, and these shows, or at least some of them, are gonna be geared towards answering that question, or even if they're all connected, I mean, that would be fucking sick. But I mean, obviously, that, who knows? But,
and I mean, within this timeline, to a degree, they have to be.
Yeah, but I just think that having that ability, like taking that thread from that movie and then weaving it through these shows to kind of like just tighten things up and straighten everything out, like that can give these shows so much more weight and make all of these things that much better. And like that's where I think Marvel lacks a little harder. There are so many movies and a lot of these characters, to an extent. Now, I'm not going to say Wanda and Vision got a whole lot of love, even though they've been in numerous movies. But I just think there's a different kind of weight that these Star Wars shows could carry answering those questions. Then again, I don't know. It's hard to say that with what just happened in Loki, and then also with like, you know what? I don't fucking know.
Tyler,
shit.
I
don't fucking know.
Tyler, I get what you're saying, but and I think a lot of that comes down to because Marvel has done so much better recently, movie wise.
Obviously so there's more satisfaction. There's more satisfaction.
No, like, that's not what I was going with. I was going more
okay.
Like they've done better box office wise. So there's that avenue of there will still continue to be Marvel movies that will continue to be made. There's not an end to Marvel movies in sight. Whereas Star Wars movies, we've kind of gotten a hard cutoff of it's going to be a bit before we see a few more Star Wars.
That's
movies.
a good
Winter 2023.
Yeah. It's going to be a couple more years, so the TV shows have to carry more weight because this is the only Star Wars content we're getting. Right. Whereas for Marvel, they don't want to overload the TV shows and have them be these just super weighty things where people have to watch them to be able to understand.
It does get overwhelming. I mean,
all right, if I want to watch, Shang-Chi and fully understand it, I have to watch, 23 Marvel movies and 8 hours worth, and 10 hours worth of
right.
Marvel TV shows.
Right.
So I feel like they've been trying to avoid that, whereas with Star Wars, they don't have to avoid that, so they can give more weight to these TV shows.
You just made my point make so much more sense.
Do you know what I think Dave Filoni and Disney are doing? I think they have this master plan, and it's beautiful. It is they're creating.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is just going to be real quick. They're basically like tying this big, beautiful present together with all these TV shows. They're great individually on their own. They can completely stand alone. And we think we have different storylines, but then the ribbon that comes together to tie the present together, Dave Filoni will just, pull it tight, and it's going to be like a moment where all these shows come together and they all link up. And it's like, I think that's what they're doing, like with this cloning path, and in just like, I think Grogu is the link. I think it just makes sense. The link between
doesn't make any sense at all.
It makes somewhat of sense. We don't know where he's been for 50 years, and somehow Snoke exists. I think Grogu's involved in some way if they were already wanting him. Maybe Nala Se is the precursor to, what's the doctor's name in The Mandalorian?
Pershing.
Pershing, Dr. Pershing. Like, what if Nala Se is just the precursor to Pershing?
Well, and we also
they're on the same project.
We also met this woman at the end of the episode here who wears the same uniform, wears the same exact uniform as Pershing. So Pershing might be just one chief cloning officer we know. Like, there might be more than one Pershing at the point in the timeline we are. You know what I'm saying? Not like literally. I know we're talking about cloning. I don't want to make anybody confused, but like someone else in his position. Like, there's no reason for him to be the only person responsible for cloning.
It would make sense to put Nala Se in charge. It would make Nala Se is the perfect candidate. That's all she does is clone. Like, you would think, like, okay, Nala Se, they're going to use Nala Se as much as they can, for as long as they can. And I don't think, her future is not very bright, sadly.
That's why she's not the perfect candidate, because
I really
she's
hope
not loyal. Whereas, she can teach someone who will be loyal.
Have we seen any of the Kaminoan race, like, post Order 66? Like, because I would really love if this storyline turns into her cloning Kaminoans so that her like species can survive. Like, I would love if that's what this turned into, and like she was saying, like, yeah, I'll get you your Force sensitive clones, but then the whole time she was just cloning Kaminoans, and then they escape or something like that. Like
Kaminoans.
Like, I don't know. I would love. I would just love a story like that. I think that would be just a really cool story.
It'd be a really, really cool. Like I don't think they'll ever have. The way to get a story like that is to get another Clone Wars, like another sort of anthology show that takes us all over the galaxy. And the Bad Batch is supposed to sort of do that. And maybe if that story we're going to pick up, it would be in this show. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good question. Do you think like the Bad Batch and like in the future seasons will start to break away from the Bad Batch and go more across the galaxy? Like we've done it with Ryloth. Bad Batch was barely involved. They were involved, so I guess it makes sense why we're seeing the story. But like,
yeah, like they had to get the setup episode in though. Like they were in that one scene, and then they were in the second episode pretty heavily. But I mean,
I think being that the TV show is literally called The Bad Batch, the best avenue for that may be if they like join up with Rex, and then it just becomes more of kind of following the Bad Batch, following the rest of Rex and his Bad Batch.
Yeah, because it's not called Clone Force 99. It's called Bad Batch. Yeah. That's not their official title. It's like that could be a group of idiots.
We are all the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Oh, cookies.
Bad Batch, bitches. But shall we do a scene by scene? You guys want to do that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Wow, we might want to do that.
Let's do it. So, we're talking Kamino Lost, season 1 finale, written by Jennifer Corbett, the head writer of the series. I'm very excited. Let's jump right into it. We jump to Kamino with Rampart overseeing the destruction of Tapoka City from a Venator-class Star Destroyer, and the Bad Batch, Omega, and AZ are carrying away a unconscious Crosshair, trying to flee into the depths of Tapoka City, get as far away from the surface as they can, with good reason. Apparently, the bottom of this structure will remain intact for a relative amount of time. But they're knocked to the ground by one of the blasts, and Tapoka City continues to sink, and Omega is separated from the others by a malfunctioning door. And in orbit, Rampart receives a status report from a clone trooper, And this was a little heartbreaking. He tells him, oh, Kamino facilities have collapsed into the sea.
Like even the trooper had like a hard time saying it.
Yeah.
Like he had a hard time saying it. Like, I don't know. This scene was just like, it was beautiful in its own way. Like the animation, like the rain, like, oh my God, how can you animate rain that well? Like it just looked real. Like this scene looked like photo, like if destroyers were really in the sky, I guess. But
yeah, I get you.
I don't know. It's just wow.
One thing that I do have to note, and obviously it's just one of those things where it's just they had to do it this way. But man, they really should have waited until that storm passed and it was like sunny out to destroy everything. Being that because they just left the ship floating on the surface, and I was like, hold on,
hold the phone though. We've never seen it not raining on Kamino.
That's a fair point.
What the fuck were the Kaminoans doing? Like, to make it rain? Was that like an impairment to keep their subjects?
You think they made it rain?
It's the Truman Show.
You think they made it rain?
Yeah,
Kamino
right
is running the
left?
Truman Show. Kamino
actually,
is running
I'm thinking,
the
Colton,
Truman
you said like an
Show.
impairment.
Yeah.
Maybe they were actually making it rain to conceal everything. Because if it's not raining and it's sunny outside, that little like secret platform that they had where they put the ship on,
That's
plainly fucking obvious on the surface of the water, regardless of what's sitting there.
True.
In the
what if like
rain,
Kamino's just the tip of the iceberg? Like, what if the Kamino we think is just the tip, like just like
it is
barely
Poca City?
anything?
Like I mean, there could be so much more to Kamino. Like we don't know shit
he
about
said
this place.
all major cities. Didn't he say that, or did he just say the city? Like, what did he?
All Kaminoan
said all
facilities.
Facilities. Okay. Yeah.
I was just saying, I think something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't know. I maybe there's something below the surface. I don't think they'll really go into that. I don't know. I think Kamino's just gone.
Yeah, I'm gonna think that we're saying goodbye to Kamino. Like this feels like it's supposed to be like we're putting that era to bed. Kamino gone. Kamino lost.
Yeah,
quite literally.
Yeah. The death of Kamino is the true death of the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
because it's the end of the clones.
Exactly. But
that we know of.
Yeah.
Well, the end of Jango Fett. Yeah, Jango Fett
strand casts
as troopers.
But
have you guys seen the theory of Omega? How she ages twice as slow, and she's literally that's just her mutation, just to keep Jango Fett's DNA alive for as long as possible.
I don't think she's mutated at all.
I think she's mutated to age slowly. I think that's her mutation, is to age slowly.
Mutated at all. I think her whole thing was that she's literally just a female version of.
She was created right before the Bad Batch, and you don't think she has a mutation?
No,
she's in the Bad Batch. You don't think she
right before the Bad Batch?
She has this crazy intuition
and
all this.
There for their creation. She was created at least a decent amount before the Bad Batch.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think it's way out of the cards to say that that could be a twist down the road. Is that she does have that mutation?
I think Omega is twice their age. She's old. But I think Omega's that's why she's so wise and she plays chess very well. She is wise. She's very wise. She picks things up very quickly. I don't know. She's a pretty smart person. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I was just rewatching the finale 20 minutes ago, and as the episode was ending, this didn't hit me the first time I watched it, but I was like, fuck, I am gonna miss Omega. What the fuck is this? I love this character. I love this character. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna miss watching this every Friday. This has been a lot of fun. And that's what season 1 was about.
It really
was making sure that you loved these characters, so that season 2 they could do whatever they wanted with them and kill them, and we'd actually feel something. I hope they don't kill any of them, man. This show's just too good. This crew.
Episode 1, season 2. Omega's dead.
But Rampart's deuces. The imps get out of there, and it's interesting. They were just we're going to bombard this shit, and we're going to dip. Fuck this place.
What else do you do?
Yeah, do you wait around for a little bit?
Do you say a few words? I don't know. After you wipe out a planet, I think that's it, man. I think you just go.
Yeah.
No, you got it. You always double tap. You got to be sure everyone's dead.
Hey, send that new death beam laser thing we're working on. Just do that at them too, you know? Let's hit them with that thing. Damn.
But later on in the episode, AZ reactivates and tends to Omega, urging her to vacate the compartment in order to save their lives. And Omega soon finds Crosshair trapped under the compartment, and she's not strong enough to lift the wreckage off of him, and she contacts Hunter and the rest of the gang over the comm link, and she warns them that the room is flooding and that Crosshair is trapped. And I was like, oh, great. So we're just kicking off the episode with a near drowning. That's fucking grand. I love it.
The way AZ literally is like, you're minutes away from drowning.
Yeah,
like,
you survived the bombardment of the city, but you are minutes away from drowning. This is a droid I fucks with. You know, I like me some AZ. Fuck Toto.
He reminds me of like a much less annoying Toto.
Yeah. No, well, like he is like the good balance to Toto. Like there are two. This is the yin and the yang. Toto is the evil son of a bitch who deserves nothing but death, and AZ is just like a sweetheart who deserves all the love in the fucking galaxy.
Fuck AZ.
I will not stand for this Toto slander, guys. Man,
I will.
Your hatred only fuels my love.
An IU. However, Tech reports that all the compromised compartments are sealed to contain the flooding, and he is unable to override the protocols. And Wrecker's like, I can override them. I was like, fuck yeah. Save your little sister, bro. That's the move. He just like pries these blast doors open. At least he tries to with the
big sister, old sister,
yeah,
grandma sister, maybe.
Grandma,
much to think about. But Crosshair soon wakes up from the stun, and he is greeted by AZ with the whole, you're gonna drown and die. But meanwhile, the rest of the Bad Batch try to force their way through the door, and Omega dives underwater and struggles to free Crosshair, and she tells AZ to use his boosters. And while AZ focuses on the wreckage, Omega fires her energy bow at the debris. And I was like, okay, she's really quick to pull that thing out now. Like, Kyler pointed it out at some point. Like, she's really just like, she's mad comfortable with that thing now. Like, it's also secondhand nature to reach for that thing.
No, there's no hesitation.
Man, I might just fucking miss.
Hit Crosshair right in the head. Like, I'm shooting completely blind into this water. I dinged it 3 times in a row, though. I'm freaking intuition. I'm freaking old as hell. You know, I've done this before.
But Crosshair is freed because of this effort, and Omega helps him up, and they directs the two to open the door. And diving underwater, Omega struggles to try and pry it open, but the Bad Batch managed to get it open long enough for Omega, Crosshair, and AZ to slip through. And I like to think that Omega thought she did this. I think that would be solid. And I love the way that Wrecker catches her, and then he hands her to Echo, and Echo holds her for a second, and she just kind of hugs him, and then he sets her down. But I was like, oh, that was so fucking cute. But Crosshair comes sliding in, and he asks Hunter, what have you done? And Hunter's like, yo, it wasn't us, bro. The Empire just started raining fire down on us. We weren't about to leave you behind. And Crosshair's like, fuck you guys. I don't want to hear that shit now. That's too late. Frankly, I can't blame him. Frankly, I don't blame him. I would still be like, I'd be holding on to this shit a little bit too. Because like Hunter goes, we weren't about to leave you behind. Where have we been for 15 episodes?
Bitch. What did you do from day one?
Yeah, when we weren't going to leave you behind. Well, when the fuck did that change?
Crosshair is really just a big softy on the inside. That's all.
Okay, rewatching it though, kind of makes sense that like they didn't go back for him because he's actively shooting at them. Like I know you can make a plan and save your boy and all, but like if he's actively shooting at you, and you know his inhibitor chip is messing with his brain.
What? But
it's not what you can do, man.
There's like 6 of them.
But like it would make more sense for Crosshair to come back to them than, you know.
Well, and it sounds like that's the logic they approach in the writer's room too.
And that's what Wrecker said.
Wrecker points it out. He's like, "You always could have come back. We always would have taken you." Like,
and like that tiny little brain of yours. Crosshair's so savage.
And the first time I watched that, I just kind of went like, I don't know. Like,
it kind of doesn't feel right, but
I think it's the logic we have to work with. Like, it's like, I think at this point, Crosshair's inhibitor chip is out. Like, that's just something we have to like be like, okay, that
Crosshair's inhibitor chip is out, and that's just who he is.
Apparently. And like on rewatch, after like reading those quotes from Jennifer Corbett where she's like, his chip is actually out and he's still loyal to the Empire, however Hauser's is still in and he isn't. And it's like, how does that work? But whatever. But
Omega kind of says it, or Tech kind of says it. He's like, it's just in his nature. You cannot change him.
No,
like,
and that's what I was gonna say, is that like on rewatch, like knowing his inhibitor chip is out, that line is not a speculation. It's not like I was holding on to the like, I don't know, I still think he has his inhibitor chip in the first time I watched it. Second time I watched it, I didn't. And all those lines hit like, oh damn, he's just like a normal brain person taking this shit on. And just like listening to them be like, it's just your nature, bro. I understand you, but I don't give a shit.
I mean, is it like, so is Tech saying that it's his mutation that causes him to kind of take sides with the Empire? I and you also thought that because of the way Tech presents information. However,
I think he was just talking about his personality. Like, he was just like, this is just the way he is. We are not going to change him. And he.
I loved the line of just like,
plot twist.
Like, I understand you. That does not mean that I agree with you. Like, it was just the most like Tech line. I don't know. I love Tech in this episode. I don't know. I think I kind of got like a little spotlight.
I know that like I said, Omega's my favorite character from this show, but like Tech is right there. Like, I love Tech coming out
Tech's
of this show.
Tech's my dude. Because I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of like the Tech. I just spew useless facts all the time. Sometimes they end up being helpful.
You're like a more profane Tech.
Exactly. Sometimes they end up being right and helpful. Most of the time, it's just like, yeah, I mean, I didn't need to know that. I guess I know it, you know? And I don't know. I kind of dig Tech's like philosophy, you know, like I completely understand you. Don't ever think that means I agree with you though.
There he is.
Let's go.
Yes. Yes.
Oh God, it's so satisfying now.
It's a good thing it's the finale too, because this is the last time that he'll be able to do it.
Oh my God! Wow.
Wow. God damn it. But you know, they're like, you know, Tech's like, yo, we gotta get the fuck out of here. We gotta go. We about to fucking die. And
hey, yo, where's the gabagool?
Where's the gabagool? But Hunter tells Crosshair he can choose to stay here and die, or you know, come with us. And he leads the squad out of there. And Crosshair, like after a moment of standing there, and Omega kind of looks at him like, darn, what a shame.
She does, yeah. She does this little movement. Yeah, there was like a little. And then she turned around.
Yeah. And he's like, fuck, fine. And I do appreciate, one of my favorite things about this episode is that, like, they made, like, the good in Crosshair shine through Omega. Not one of his brothers. Like, Hunter didn't really crack him. Wrecker didn't really crack him. None of them really got to him, but Omega talking that shit and then being in trouble got to him.
Well, what I love, that's what I think is amazing is like he had the most beef with Omega really out of any of the rest of them. Like he specifically had that conversation with Hunter about Omega not being a good fit and that, he didn't care really. And now like here he is saving her and like having a change of heart because of her. Like how fitting to show like her character, how like impressionable I guess she is, like how she leaves her mark.
She does. She does. It's just Omega's way. Like I don't get how one can watch this show and then like go online and like hate on Omega. Like first, you're a loser. That is a child character. You are pathetic. Second of all, probably misogynist. Just likely at that point if you're hating on a small girl.
Not a child, but okay.
Okay, yeah, like 50.
Yeah, she's actually an old woman. She's like 40.
She was the first clone. Master Siphidius was like, give me a clone.
I mean, it kind of like is a talking point that she is the polar opposite of Boba. Like,
but literally. She didn't grow up in the same circumstances as Boba. Boba grew up at Jango Fett's hip. She grew up in Nala Se's.
Yeah, they were both created at the same time, but look how different both of them are. Like, it's crazy.
Well, and like there's credence to the idea that Omega might not turn out so different after rolling with the Bad Batch for a while. Like,
that's a fair point.
Like, if they're gonna, because it seems the direction they're kind of going is like they're not gonna do rebellion stuff. Like, they're probably going to end up more underworld stuff through Sid and stuff like that. Like, that feels more their territory as of yet.
Also, how different can she really be? She clearly always stays strapped with that bow, with that energy bow thing,
and she clearly does
not fucking hesitate.
She wants. She does not listen to anybody.
Yeah,
maybe she's not so different. I mean, obviously, she's a little bit cooler tempered. She's much nicer, especially at this age. Boba was quite the angsty teen.
To be fair, though,
after watching his dad murdered.
Yeah, I was gonna say she didn't watch her father / clone of herself technically get his head cut off by
father brother
right in front of her.
Same guy.
Dude, seeing him in Clone Wars, seeing him in Clone Wars. In that arc where he's trying to get revenge with Mace Windu and partnering up with all those bounty hunters.
Sets up the bomb outside of Mace's.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That stuff was so awesome.
Thinking about that actually, Joseph, I don't think your her like aging twice as slowly thing would work. Because this is right around the same age as Boba would be right now.
Yes,
too.
But they could also have given her this age because like you're not going to give her like 4.
Yeah, they could change.
They're not going to make her 4. They're going to make her somewhat functional, like as a child. Like a functional child age.
Functionable.
So I mean, I don't know. I could say like she could be. I'd say she's technically older than the Bad Batch, so I'd say she's in her young 30s.
What?
Yeah.
Joseph, she's the same age as Boba.
No, but she aged slower though. They aged her.
And he ages normally. And at this point, he's
Joseph,
like 15.
She might.
Okay, just because Boba ages normally doesn't mean that Omega has to age normally.
No, but what you're saying is maybe she ages quick. If she's 30, then she would be aging quicker, not slower. Because, like,
oh wait,
years wise,
okay, no.
She is like 14.
She's year wise 33, but like biologically 14.
But she's not year wise.
So they they cloned Jango Fett before.
Yeah, this is where you're
before the Phantom Menace. They cloned Jango Fett.
He popped in. They made a female clone of him. Then he dipped for like 15
I guess I really
years.
haven't thought of the timeline here.
That's the argument that I was making. It's like maybe she ages slower later on, but right now she's aging normally.
Okay, her age is somewhat altered in some way, but it's not the way that I said. That's what I'm going with.
I'm sticking to my theory, but not the way that I said it.
I'm sticking that I'm partially right.
But the clones in AZ flee through this transparent tunnel now underwater, and Omega stops by a window as they sadly watch these little incubation chambers for the clones get all sunk and destroyed. And this one sucked, like, because there's one very specific shot that I remember from Attack of the Clones, and it's those, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of them, and like the shots they showed us last week and then this week of it getting destroyed, like we've seen those exact places just popping off with clones. So like, it was just very sad. It was just very sad all in all. But
one thing I loved about this episode was the animation, like how good the destruction looked. Like whenever they're driving or like, you know, going through it or like trying to escape and you're seeing it all unfold in the background. Like
it falling through the ocean.
The balance of the like, fire and the falling and just everything. Like it looked so good. It made it like, it didn't even feel like animation when I was watching it. Like those specific scenes, like the colors were so vibrant.
It's a cut above.
It was
like animation. Like, this is like a cat. I don't put this, like, I almost don't want to put this in animation category. It's so good. Like, I feel like this is like a step above. Like, I don't know. This is kind of like, this is by far the best animated show I've seen, quality wise.
Oh, and certainly on those landscape shots. Like, this shit looks real. Like photo real. I don't know how, like, and they get that advantage from the like edgy, like sharp animation design that they do and that they always had the intention of doing, but they've only recently had the technology to execute exactly as it was always visualized. Like,
it's just, this style is beautiful.
Oh,
it's just beautiful.
Perfect.
It blends realism with animation, and it's like reality with fantasy. It's just like literally like, I don't know.
And since we're here, I know that we're talking about the animation and stuff, and I know that we're all very, very excited about the live action Ahsoka show. Of course.
Obviously.
I would have really been okay with that being Clone Wars style animation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I just love Ahsoka and like her animated character.
Her animated, like that's like
he's one of those characters where like when you think of her first, you're almost certainly thinking of an animated version of her character.
Yeah.
Would you want Clone Wars Ahsoka or like Rebels Ahsoka, like the older, mature?
It would have to be the older, mature Ahsoka, like just timeline wise, but like it's still the same voice actress, like it's still Ashley Eckstein. So like and here's the thing is that like I'm cool with Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. I however don't think she has been realized to her full potential in this specific period of her life. With the Leku and stuff supposed to have grown much larger than they are, and like I'm not too concerned with that. I'm okay with that. Like I get the practical aspects of having to keep them down, but like the potential character design there could be astounding. We haven't seen, like, we need to see her post Return of the Jedi. Like, we saw her last A New Hope. Like,
holy crap.
Like, the character design possibility there in animation is just stupendous. And we saw the older Ahsoka in Rebels animation. Like, imagine seeing older Ahsoka in Clone Wars animation. Like, it could just be out. And I obviously still super hype for live action Ahsoka, bringing all those characters to life. Ezra, Thrawn, Sabine, all these characters is going to be dope. However, I like them in animation. I'd be okay with them sticking with that. And I'll stick by that. I probably would have preferred it. However, I'm okay with what we get, obviously. Let's jump back in though. What do you say?
Thank you, animators.
Thank you, animators.
Artists and everyone who works behind the scenes.
But Wrecker tells Omega as they're watching the destruction that they have to go, and they flee as the tunnels begin to crack under the weight of the ocean, and the falling facility then comes to a stop. And Tech's like, I believe we have landed at the ocean floor.
Yeah, he's my guy. He's just the guy this episode, man.
I love him.
The guy this episode.
It's his goggles, man.
His helmet is so cool. God, his helmet's so cool.
I love him so much because, like, there are times where he'll actually, like, throw out, like, super useful information. Like, there are times, especially in this episode, where he's like, what he's saying is actually useful. And then there's times like this where he's like, I believe we're on Ocean 4. No shit, Sherlock.
You know who they did
We've been
dirty?
falling for 5 minutes and we just stopped.
You know who they did dirty? Can y'all tell me one time you remember Echo speaking in this last episode?
That's what I was about to say. Is that our boys, Tech and Echo,
Who cares?
that usually don't get a lot of screen time, Tech got it, but Echo did not. Like, Echo
I don't
sucked
think
this
Echo
episode.
said a word.
He definitely did, just not anything memorable.
Oh man, if he did,
No.
if he did, I really don't remember it.
Like, he definitely said something somewhere, but it was just one of those, like, it was like in a conversation,
Yeah.
and not relevant to anything that
So
happened.
speaking when spoken to, basically.
Yeah.
That poor dude, man.
I
He's
just need
been through it rough.
I just need more Echo. And like, I mean,
Listen,
obviously, if I go through all that shit, I'm not going to be very talkative. I'm going to tell you that right
I
now.
mean, remember the line that Tech was like, you are more machine than man. And then Echo was like, lucky me. Like, you just heard him. Like, it was just like so sad. It's like, oh my God. Like,
I mean, in all
man.
fairness, though, like, I'm assuming if you're watching Bad Batch, I'm gonna go with a heavy chance you watched Clone Wars. So we've
seen a lot of Echo.
We've seen a lot of Echo already, whereas all these other characters we've not seen. We've seen like 2 episodes outside of Bad Batch of.
All right. But if in season 2 they don't give me more Echo, we riot.
Yeah, no, it's excusable right now. If it continues for the entirety of season 2, then it's at the point where it's like, all right, why did you include him? He could be off on
With Rex,
adventures
like, at least.
with Rex.
yeah, like
Instead,
what?
He's limited to being a
Man.
glorified droid for the Bad Batch.
That's so true, man. I mean, every crew needs a droid. Like, every crew. Like,
And that's
it's a necessity, but like, it's so sad that it just used to be a human, man. Like, I don't know. It's just something about it. Oh my God.
Well, hopefully, I'm thinking they're going to take AZ on now. This is the crew's droid.
Okay.
After
we
he
go.
saves their lives, quite literally. I
Just
mean,
realized
like,
perfect-
that's a mad Star Wars thing to do, is have the droid save your lives, and then you take that droid on. That's your homie for life now.
Perfect thing to happen. They take AZ on. Okay? Season 2, some point. They fight
AZ
with
versus Toto.
No, they fight with what's his
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane. AZ versus Toto. They accidentally bring back the wrong droid. They bring back Toto.
Oh God,
Dude, I can
no.
see it happening. I can see it. So
If we don't get
happening.
if we don't get a Freaky Friday with AZ and Toto, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yo, if I had any sway at Disney at all, the only thing I would have done is for Omega to shoot Toto between his eyes in the season 2 premiere of the Bad Batch.
The premiere.
The premiere, the first thing, like if like it, the
Like,
shot would
opens,
Opens
Just an
Omega
opening
Toto.
shot of just an execution, just boom.
Firstly, if
And then just Bad Batch.
had any sway at Disney, season 2 opener, Toto shoots Omega between the
And if I had any sway over the season 2 premiere, Ultron would come out.
Joe, what a moment of self-awareness there.
that was
brilliant.
fantastic. That was fantastic.
Bravo, Joe.
Bravo. But while discussing a damage assessment here, water bursts through the cracks in the tunnel. It's like, okay, the damage must be pretty fucking bad. We need to go somewhere else. And Crosshair is just over here, just standing, like, oh man, I got a lot to think about, man. I always got a lot to think about. I'm Crosshair, man. Oh. And
Why do I get? Have you guys watched King?
He's
of
a real Edward Cullen,
He's
Cullen
fucking,
type. Real
he's-
Edward Cullen.
damn. No, Kyler is spot on. I can totally see him doing that
Just
shit where like someone
brooding,
walks in and
just
smells really
brooding.
good, and he's like,
He's just brooding, just a dark brooding figure. Just
Do y'all remember Edward Cullen like nearly having an orgasm the moment Bella walked in the room because of the way she smelled? That's a part of that movie.
Yeah.
I never watched any
Those movies are insane to rewatch and like actually just be cognitive during.
Like if you like think about what you're watching for a second, you're immediately like, I want to turn this off.
Last two movies are really good though.
And then you don't because it's actually good.
It's actually good. Like it is. It's unironically good. If you can get past,
I never watched a single one of those movies because every time I would like, I think the first movie when they were like vampire sparkle, I was like, no, this is not it.
Vampire sparkle, sexy, but
how about the fucking baseball scene? Jeez.
The baseball scene. Okay,
not to be elitist about like baseball or like anything like that, but dude. Come the fuck on. I can't do that. I can't do that.
It's a pretty bad scene.
It was kind of disrespectful. And you know, I took that personally. And
you know, I took that personally. But, you know, cue the noise. The Bad Batch end up here in their former barracks, and Tech describes this as, ironically, one of the few habitable compartments. Which I thought was hilarious because them boys stank.
That just goes to show that Crosshair scrubbed that thing whenever, like he could. Like that was the first thing he did.
He cleaned that bitch up.
All the memories of his brothers gone. Like,
bro,
dang.
I'm gonna tell you what though. At the end of this episode, they have Crosshair's backpack. They take that shit. You know what they gonna find in that fucking backpack, bro. They're going to find that fucking picture of the whole team in that backpack, bro.
Oh.
I guarantee it, bro.
Oh, come on, man.
That's going to be the season 2 premiere. They're going to pull that out of the backpack and they're going to be like, oh, fuck. And they're going to turn around and go pick him up and say, no, you're coming with us.
They're just like, immediately like, forget everything that just happened. Like, they just like Crosshair's like at the end of the episode, he's kind of like standing there like, fuck, I really made a mistake. Fuck. He turns around, he's like, wait! Wait!
And then they're coming back too because they just saw the picture and they're crying, and then it's like, and then the Bad Batch looks into camera and they say, we're sorry we didn't do this earlier. That's our boy.
Ultron pops no.
On a good note though, I know it's skipping ahead. What the fuck is he gonna do?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I mean, the Empire. I would assume
the Empire's not going to fucking pick him up.
That's a good question.
The last thing he did as an Imperial soldier was kill a bunch of Imperial soldiers.
They don't know that for sure.
I mean, they do though, because the one
said like, I think he's lost his squad.
Control of the situation.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You're right. She just knows that he lost control. She doesn't know that he killed all of them.
So like the Empire
killed them.
The Empire still they probably don't give a shit about Crosshair though, because it's like,
he
failed. Like he failed the mission, so we don't care about him anymore.
Rampart literally said, "Let the clones die together." Like we intend on killing him here.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know what the fuck he's gonna do. But shall we? Oh, we have our first Echo line.
Let's hear it.
The smell is gone.
Oh,
and,
that's it.
I told you he had a line, but it was going to be something so fucking insignificant that it wouldn't matter.
And Wrecker finds that their score chart is still there that he used to tally all the missions on, and Crosshair is bitter. He says, "Oh, that Brotherhood, all those missions, you threw it away."
Yeah. Oh, man.
Threw it away.
And Hunter is like, "Yo, we made a choice. So did you." And Crosshair's like, "Soldiers follow orders."
That's just such an inhibitor chip line, though, man.
Right.
Like, how are they doing this to us? Like, because, okay, what? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I fully trust that it's out.
I don't either, because here's the thing. If it was out, that is an aspect of the story that would have made this season of television better, objectively. Like, if they would have shown us, like, the fact that they made that a potential reveal twist for the last episode completely took away from what I was thinking the entire season. And obviously, that's the point of a twist. However, it was just like, that doesn't even really make sense.
Okay, yeah, maybe the tech line kind of gives credence to it still being in there. Like,
you can't change
you don't think Tech has, like, in his little thing, you don't think he's put in like an inhibitor chip detector, something along the lines? Like, the dude, that's an important thing. If they're going to come into contact with any other clones, they got to see if an inhibitor chip is in their head or not. Like, I feel like that's important. I feel like Tech, because Tech holds back information too, because he's not like social, and he's not like, he doesn't know it's important.
That though, then like that's just way too much off-screen shit. Like, that's just so much off-screen shit.
But Tech has done that before. Like held back information. He's like, you guys haven't known that? Like, oh yeah, like how else do you think it worked? Like, obviously we have inhibitor chips in our head, and they're like, you didn't think that was important before? You know, like that's just a Tech thing to do.
But also, though, if they were going to do that where they were going to be like, ooh, twist, he never actually got it removed, they lied, I feel like the writers of the show would not have come out and been like, no, it's fucking out.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
Because, like, at that point, it's like, that's not a twist, you're just straight lying to us. Whereas if they were just like, if they just didn't talk about it, then it could be up in the air. Well, is it going to be a twist? Is it actually out? But them straight coming out and just being like, no, it's out. This is just who he is. But
I don't know. What
a choice to go with.
I appreciate the ambition of like a hardcore plot twist, because that is a hardcore plot twist. It's just that like it's a bit of story that like would have made his arc better, just objectively, like throughout the season, knowing what emotions he's feeling the whole time. Every time we see him, we get these scenes as though he has an inhibitor chip in. They showed us it getting enhanced more than once. So, like, when did this happen? Like, that's,
yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know why they're being so wishy-washy about it. It might just be because, like, maybe they're trying to go for, they're going to paint Crosshair as this guy that fell bad, and he's going to go bad, and then they're going to show, like, hey, anyone who you think is bad can eventually turn back to be good. Like, they're going to go with, some... Obviously, Crosshair is going to be redeemed in some way, I think. I don't think
you're right.
He's either going to die or be redeemed in some way, and if he dies, that's probably going to be his redeeming moment.
Yeah.
So, like...
Well, no, I don't know. Here's the thing, is the fact that we leave this episode with him alive, him having saved Omega and AZ, and him choosing to stay with the Empire with his inhibitor chip out, all that tells me is that, like, now he is... The reason I thought he wouldn't die to redeem himself is because he had his inhibitor chip in. I thought that would be bullshit. Now it's even more Star Wars for them to be like, this was all his choice. Now he's going to choose to sacrifice himself for his boys. Like, now I'm certain his redeeming moment will be his death. Like, it's just such a Star Wars thing to do. And I still hope that he can just be redeemed. I want him to stick around. I want him to rejoin the Bad Batch. Actually,
his abilities are just so cool. Like, his, like, arsenal, like, is, God.
He's a badass.
He is a badass. His way of thinking is a little harsh, but he can shoot some weapons pretty well.
He can shoot some things accurately, but Hunter tells Crosshair, blind allegiance makes you a pawn, bitch. Siri, play Only a Pawn in Their Game by Bob Dylan. Listen to that song. Any middle-aged white people. But
primary listeners of our podcast.
I mean, that's just about it. But like 37 to 43-year-old women. That's like it. White women. But Crosshair tells, I'm actually lying. That's like our lowest demographic, actually.
What a surprise.
Believe it or not. But Crosshair tells Hunter, we're all going to fucking die, and they're all going to die because of your failed leadership. Don't talk to me about what a real leader does. And Omega's like, shut the fuck up. We have landed near the Kamino tube system. And she proposes using that system to reach the base post so they can get back to the Marauder. And Tech thinks that accessing the tube will be challenging. And Echo line number 2.
Yes!
It's better than staying here.
Oh.
As I said, insignificant.
Lot of substance.
Crosshair remarks that Omega is calling the shots. Like, what the fuck? You've got the kid giving orders now? And Hunter's like, you got better ideas, homie?
That's a good line. Like, it shows, like, Omega's not young, like, in her mind, at least. She is very smart. Like, that line is like, hey, do you have a better idea? Like, literally, that's the best idea we've got. Like,
yeah, like, he's genuinely like, if you have a better idea,
yeah, like,
you should give us that better idea.
I don't know. It's just something's up with Omega. She's just smart.
Yeah,
she has something going on with her. I don't know what it is.
I get you. I'm with you. But AZ uses a precision weld to cut open the maintenance hatch, and it leads them to a tunnel in the tubing system. And I like that he was able to like so perfectly cut this thing open that it like it welded the shit. Like it was like, that is a seal.
It did get that. I was thinking about this for a long time, like during this episode. I was just like, the actual logistics of this happening right now, like they're at the ocean floor, the pressure of the water is so intense. If one little thing messes up, it's just fucking done.
AZ's the king.
Dude, that dude's freaking joining the squad for sure. That dude's a freaking god.
No, this man is MVP
only
of this
to get
episode.
Killed by Toto, episode 1, season 2.
Yeah, oh god.
All right.
The clones slowly enter the tunnel here, and as the canopy above them starts to crack, Crosshair he opines and he says they should go back, find another way. AZ's like, no, this is definitely the best we've got. And Wrecker blames him for the mess they're in. He's like, Crosshair, what the fuck? And Crosshair's like, oh, teeny brain Wrecker getting mad.
Yeah, he was like, anything in that teeny brain of yours, Wrecker. It was just like, God, the dude is just such a savage. Everything he says. Crosshair just, man, his delivery. I think it's his delivery. It's just, man, what a guy.
Wrecker's like, damn it! Crosshair! We always loved you, man. You could have come back. Always. We always would have taken you. And Tech's like, Wrecker, shut your fucking mouth. Let go of the past. Crosshair is severe and unyielding. A nature that not even he himself can change. And Crosshair asks Tech, why are you defending me? And I thought that was hilarious because, like, I listened to that line and I was like, eesh, that is rough. Like, ouch. Sorry, Crosshair. And then Crosshair goes, why are you defending me? And I was like, you took that wrong. And
that was not defending you. That was shitting on you.
Incorrect. But yeah, Tech's like, yeah, I was not, no, yeah, I understand you, but I do not agree with you. And I heard that and like, I almost immediately took to the group chat. Like, I almost just like sent that just alone. Like, I understand you, but I do not agree with you. And was like, fuck, that is good.
I feel like that happened, like that mindset happens a lot between the four of us. Is like, I understand what you're saying, but it's just fucking wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And it especially happens to us with Joe. Joe, you want to defend yourself?
Oh, crickets. I guess he understands that he's wrong.
No, he understands. Wow, what a fucking idiot. What a moron. Look at you, Joe. Look at you just sitting there, taking it. You can't even speak up for yourself. What are you doing?
He's down bad. He's down
If
bad.
only this were a video podcast.
If only.
Then the people would understand.
That Joe's just a bitch.
Oh, Joey boy. It's like Danny boy, but like bitchier. Bitch 2 of the bitches 4, but the biggest bitch of them all. I'm trying to stall as long as I can until he comes back.
No, don't.
I feel like we can just continue. It's not like...
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But, you know, Omega thinks that the tube system is...
Hey, wait a minute. Did you guys do that shit to me?
No, we didn't. Hey, wait.
I was about to.
I don't think the people will even know you were gone. But they will, however, know now that Joe is gone. He hasn't been here for a couple minutes. That's why we talked so much shit. We would never say our truthful feelings to his face. I'm just kidding. We love Joey. Of course we love Joey. That's my fucking guy. I hope he listens to this.
Fucking...
Because I want to tell you guys right now, when he comes back, we are not saying a fucking word about it.
Not at all.
Nah, like no chance. Oh, he's coming. Look at that little bitch.
What a fucking bitch.
Look at that bitch coming back here. Oh, walking into the bathroom. Walking into the bathroom.
Is all of this going to get left in?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
All of it is going to get left in because I want him to be able to hear it if he listens.
He's smuggling.
Joe, text me strawberry if you hear this.
Text us all. So, like, send it in the...
Send it in the group chat. Send the word strawberry to the group chat if you're
listening.
listening.
Fucking door.
Closing the door, yeah. So strawberry, Joseph, in the group chat. You're a bitch ass whore. Fuck yourself. Pussy boy. Look at you moving your dumb little mouth. Little fucker. Little fuck boy. Fuck you.
God, it would be really great if he just didn't have his headphones plugged in right now and he could hear all of this.
That would be hilarious. He's just sitting there like, God damn, do you hear them? Look at this little motherfucker.
Thinking there are 2 Wandas.
Look at this mother.
So
2 Wandas. What a motherfucking idiot. I mean, fuck. God, what the fuck is wrong with this fucking guy? God damn, look at him still without his headphones on.
God, he is just really taking his time to put these headphones back on.
If he puts them on, watch what's going to happen. Watch what's going to happen. If he puts them back on.
Man, this is just going on forever.
Is he going to put them back on?
God, he thinks we're talking about stuff right now.
I think he does.
What is going on?
What is going on with it?
Yeah.
Omega
Hey,
thinks the
Joe!
system is unsafe, but AZ reassures her that this is their only viable transport. And Hunter's like, yeah, that's right. AZ, lead the way. And while going through the tunnel, the clones hear a beast roar from the depths of the ocean. And Omega asks if the tunnels are protected, to which AZ responds that, they are. Only protected with power, of course. And that shit is off. So good luck.
Really crazy that we at no point have ever thought about the fact that there are just like fucking sea monsters on Kamino, and it's never been talked about.
Oh, they pop up in the background every once in a while. You'll see we saw a Kaminoan flying on one of these motherfuckers once in Attack of the Clones.
No, I thought there's like things like pterodactyl like things that they fly on.
Yeah.
But they didn't just introduce that there's like a fucking sea monster that tries to destroy their facilities all the time, and they have it all laced with, electricity, so if it touches it, it just gets zapped.
That's pretty cool though. I like that.
I mean, it's cool. Would have been cool. Like, it would have been cool to like introduce it, like whenever there was the siege of Kamino.
True.
If they showed like a droid like falling into the water and like a giant sea monster just flip out of the water and eat it.
Or imagine if like Obi-Wan, when he's hanging off the side, just a sea monster just comes up and wants to, just waiting for him.
Like, there would have been really cool places where they could have introduced this elsewhere, and they just decided not to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm completely with you. But the creature is like, I'm gonna bite this motherfucker, and it tries to, and the whole thing cracks, and AZ is like, if I restore the power, it should drive the creature away, and we should be fine. That should be cool. And so he goes ahead and tries to do that, and the clones try and flee through the tunnel. Again, AZ coming up huge as an MVP here, but the power surge electrocutes the sea monster, drives it away, and however, it causes the power system to short circuit, and the clones arrive near the power generator in time, and AZ apologizes that his actions have caused the structure's remaining power to short out. He's like, but it's all right. You guys are alive, so that's cool. We love that. Hi, Joey. How you doing, buddy?
Hey guys. What's up?
You've been sitting there for a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
AZ's a cool dude in my opinion, you know? I like his little nubs, his legs.
His little
how he flies, you know, I think that's pretty cool.
Little bitch.
Like whenever he just flew up that tube and then turned the power on, it was so cool. Like how he flew, just so like.
Troll me, daddy. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the clones and AZ climbed through a hatch that led to Nalisay's little private lab, and Hunter, having never been to the lab, asks, where are we at? What's this? And Tech's like, this is where our mutations were manipulated and enhanced. And when Crosshair's like, how does the child know? What the fuck is this shit? Tech explains. She was there when we were born. Omega was created before us. Technically, she is older than us. And right here, they discover that the tube leading towards the landing pad has been completely destroyed. Oh no, not fucking again.
What a surprise.
No, bro, I was like, damn. So we really just we're really going to do this. Like, we're just going to be like, the whole episode is them trying to get back to their ship. We're not doing any of this 10-minute little outro. It's just, we get back to the ship, that's it.
And what drives me nuts is, like, how many times have we seen this in Star Wars where, like, oh, we have to evacuate from this planet. It's getting really intense. And then, oh my gosh, there's the ship.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not even just Star Wars. Not even just Star Wars. Freaking Far From Home does it with Happy. Freaking Mando had it happen to him with the Razor Crest. Just, man.
True.
Them ships, you know what? We need
to find a Rey in Force Awakens.
We need a better form of travel.
Teleportation.
We need something.
That's the end game.
Teleportation.
That's the goal. But with the clones resting inside Nalisay's lab, AZ's power cells begin to deplete, and Echo reports, another Echo line here, that long-range comms are down and their oxygen levels will be critical in a few hours. Thanks, Echo. That's line number 3 for you. We're going to need you to shut the fuck up for the rest of the episode.
No.
We've got a 3-line minimum.
No. Poor guy.
3-line maximum.
3-line maximum.
It's even sadder to say.
But Crosshair blames his former comrades here for letting the kid call the shots, and Hunter responds that the kid saved Crosshair's life, unlike the Empire, who attempted to murder him.
Fair point.
And Crosshair accuses Hunter of taking things personally. He's like, whoa, man, that was a little bit of a lash out. You took that a little bit more personal than I would have thought. But when Hunter points out that the Empire destroyed all of Tapoka City, Crosshair replies that they did what needed to be done. I was like, shit.
I guess this dude just sees the bigger picture.
Like, that's the thing, is that, like, apparently that's the case. He just, like, is like, yeah, I see what they're trying to build, and I like it. Like, and I can't buy that. Like, that's so hard for me to believe, because for, I don't know, 45 fucking years, we've been taught that the Empire is the worst fucking evil there is. I don't like it.
It makes sense for someone to join an evil. Like,
you guys just don't.
There are troops all over joining. Like right now, like there are people joining the Empire. Obviously, not all because they love what the Empire's doing, but there are some people who are, you know.
Nah, you guys are just too narrow-minded. You guys just don't understand the
peace and security.
What's the freedom?
No, they don't give a fuck about freedom.
What's the line? I've memorized it before, but I'm forgetting it.
I have brought
peace, freedom.
Is it
justice and security to my new empire? Your new empire, yeah. I brought peace,
your new
freedom,
empire,
justice, and security to my new empire.
That was good.
Thank you.
Yep, peace, freedom, justice, and security. All right, so
you are my brother, Anakin.
Yeah.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes, but isn't that an absolute in itself? Obi-Wan Kenobi? Freaking idiot.
Because if only Siths steal in absolutes? That's
sounds
it.
like an absolute.
That sounds like an absolute to me, Mr. Jedi. But
and then he literally says, "I'll do what I must." Literally an absolute, right there too.
Goddamn, go off there, hypocrite! Fucking hypocrite Jedi.
I guess he still won though, so
I guess that is part of the point, though, is that the Jedi are so hypocritical. But
you guys just don't see the full picture.
Crosshair here says that Kamino, the regular clones, the Republic, the time is over. He says the Empire will control the galaxy, and I am going to be a part of it. You made the wrong choice. And he turns his back, and Hunter warns Crosshair. The Empire only regards him as a number, not a human. Like, you are just a thing to them.
In all fairness, though, the Republic also viewed them all as just numbers. Being that every single one of them was CT, like 08456.
He's only ever been a number.
Yeah, they're all only numbers.
But alas.
We all are only numbers.
I was number, I don't know.
My social security number is...
well, all four of us are numbers. You're number 1, Joe's number 2, I'm number 3, Kyler's number 4. Of the
bitch is 4.
Why do I have to be the last bitch?
Because you're on the screen below me that I can see, and they cannot.
Oh man, that felt so out of place. That felt so
right in the middle of the episode. Ew, you fucking nasty whore, Colton.
Telling him you are on the screen.
But he says the Empire will control the entire galaxy. He hopes to be a part of it. And Hunter is like, "You're a number, not a being." Crosshair sits down, side of the room, deep thought. Ooh, am I just number? Am I being? What am I? Who am I?
I do remember him sounding exactly like that.
You guys ever watch Parks and Rec?
Mm-hmm.
I like every time anyone's pondering anything, all I can think of is Tom Haverford in the tribute to Lil Sebastian. Who are we? Why are we here?
Is that's what was going through your head during this Crosshair moment? That's what was going through your head?
We miss you in the satisfaction. What a great fucking TV show. But yeah, that's exactly what was going through my head at the moment of
that's awesome.
Crosshair being in deep thought was just like, who are we? But Omega comes up and sits next to him, and I like this little symmetry of the premiere and the finale, this one-on-one moment they get to have together. And she observes that he never liked Kamino. Like, it never felt like home to him. This wasn't his place. And Crosshair's like, go the fuck away. And Omega's like, I understand. I spent most of my life here. I was alone down here until you guys were created. She was just kept in a room.
Like, kept in a room. Just like 11. Kept in a room. Just like 11.
And like Grogu.
Dude, yeah.
Just
what the
kept
fuck?
in a room.
God damn it. We deserve better for the kiddies. Give the kiddies
fuck the kids.
We need to do better for our kids.
Man, fuck them kids, bro.
Man, fuck them kids, bro. Look around, bro. Look at life. But Omega explains that she was determined to find them all again, which I love that, like, maybe the premiere of this show was like the payoff of her life's work. Was like her entire time she was just trying to come face to face with them once. And then she does. Yeah, Hunter, Kose, Tick, Rika, Iko.
Crazy to think about. Echo's the only one that she probably didn't see be created.
Yeah. I don't know.
Whoa.
Very strange. Very strange indeed.
She's old, man.
She's an old man.
At least 33, if you ask Joseph.
Crosshair's like, being a clone doesn't make you one of them, Omega. And Omega's like, all right, guy. I wanted to believe that it was just the inhibitor chip making you a dick. Turns out you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she said, word for word. And she then gets up and walks away. Word for word. But meanwhile, Echo, again, not the last line of the episode. He's got 4, at least. He proposes using medical capsules to escape the wrecked tunnels. So Echo realizing Joseph's vision. We love it.
He did have an important line here. It was his idea that he saved them all here.
I suppose he did. With his
get in our baby pods and let's use them as vehicles, baby. Let's just hit the nail on the head. You know, I don't know what I'm going to predict next, but I hope it's something like that soon. Like, I hope I get that spot on one more time.
No, and like, what's crazy is there was literally no reason for you to say it. Like, it was completely random last week that you had that idea, and
whenever I was watching it, my jaw was just dropped the whole time. I'm like, wait, there's no way they're actually going through with this. Like, there's no way that they're actually doing this right now.
I can't believe it. I was like, you are fucking kidding me. You are fucking... I like yelled at my TV. But
I don't know.
On an important note, though, why is Omega the one on her own? Like, why do they put the smallest like, I get Wrecker being on his own. That makes sense, because he's massive. But you have the biggest person and the smallest person on their own. Meanwhile, you have Hunter and Crosshair crammed into a fucking tube together.
It added a little bit of spice, you know?
That's a really good point. They needed the droid to save Omega. They couldn't.
I know, but I feel like it would have made a lot more sense for, like, you know, Hunter and Omega to have been together.
Logically, yeah, sure. Certainly, almost, definitely. But nevertheless, you know, we got what we got. Tech says that if their mass is evenly distributed, the buoyancy of their watertight chambers will bring them to the surface. And AZ says that medical capsules have not been tested for such capabilities. Maybe that's the reason.
Yeah, mass.
Their mass needed to be evenly distributed.
They just needed 2 similar people. So it had to be 2 similar people instead of 2 vastly different people.
Oh, okay. I guess I get. Yeah, that makes sense then.
Unless they were just both in the middle, just cuddling the whole time. But, like, you know.
Oh. But Hunter adds that they won't have directional control, and is like, how the fuck are we gonna do this then? Anybody want to riddle me that?
Drops the thing of just being like, they have not been tested for this, and they're all like, shut up, nerd.
Fuck you, AZ! How the fuck are we gonna get out of here? And they're like, oh, and AZ, guess what, dude? You have terrible ideas. Push us out of here, bro.
Those little nubs.
Die for us, dude. Fuck you. But Crosshair proposes that the droid can guide them through the debris, and Hunter asks if AZ can guide them to the surface, and AZ is like, you know, if there's nothing too unexpected, yeah, that should be just fine, and I should be able to complete my objective. And Omega asks if it will be dangerous, and the droid replies that their safety and well-being is his primary objective. And getting to work, Omega plants detonators on the windows while the clones prepare for the medical capsules. And I love that, like, they're just like, Omega, you got this shit. Go ahead and arm all the bombs. We're gonna work on getting inside of these capsules.
I really trust her a lot now.
Plant the bombs and arm them, older sister.
Yeah, exactly. Omega. But Wrecker complains. He's like, I'm too big for this shit. And Hunter says, hey, at least you aren't doubled up because this shit sucks. And AZ is drawing upon his reserve power here and tells Omega that they must hurry. And with the explosive set, the clones seal up the tanks. Hunter and Crosshair travel in the same one. And Crosshair and Echo travel in one. And then Wrecker has his own. And Omega ignites the explosives. Did he? Did he say anything else? But Omega ignites the explosives and the tanks are swept out by a wave of water.
Joe is just getting absolutely shit on.
It's so funny. But
you can see the look of dread go over his face as soon as he realized we all heard that too.
He said something. He said
something. He just goes.
But
oh, poor Joe.
AZ guides the clones' medical capsules through the ocean, dodging debris, and AZ is trying to guide Omega's capsule, and the droid is hit in the head by some and causes him to lose control for a second. Omega's like, you're doing good, don't worry. It's all right. He looks down for a second, and then, like, that's that. She gets pinned under debris and falls to the bottom of the ocean. And it's like, oh, that's a problem. And I was like, okay, fuck this. We started the episode with her and Crosshair with the threat of drowning, and now you are pinning her at the bottom of the ocean alone with fucking AZ?
I'm not going to lie. I really thought she was dead here.
I didn't think she was dead. I was just like...
Because I'm like, okay, nothing big has really happened yet. And I'm like, is this really what they're doing right now? Like, or like maybe she wouldn't die. I'm like, maybe she'd be preserved in the tank, whatever, you know, like she wouldn't be dead, but she would be like down there, stuck. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like this is what they're doing. Look, you know, continue.
Thankfully not.
Could you imagine that cliffhanger though? If that's how they ended
that would have, like, that's how they ended the season. She's just at the bottom of the water. See you in a year and a half.
Yep, nope, I'd be raging.
You know what? I would have been down for it. That would have been fucking hilarious.
Then they just pick up the season and like she just gets right out a minute later.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Would have been funny though.
Would have been funny as hell, but the other clones reach the surface, open the capsules, and AZ manages to retrieve Omega's capsule down at the bottom. And as they ascend to the surface, AZ exhausts the last of his reserve power, and up on the surface, Hunter's like, fuck! Ugh, what the fuck? Omega! Where is she? And he was real worried, understandably so. And he tells, and in the water again, AZ tells Omega that her path is clear. And Omega's like, don't give up. Come on, buddy. You can do this. You got this, man. Just keep pushing. He says, I have completed my primary objective. And then he shuts down. And Omega is destroyed by the loss of a friend. I was upset. I was like, damn. And then I'm not going to lie to you. I was fucking pissed 2 seconds later. I was like, that's a fucking mistake. You don't jump into water after a dead droid.
I knew. Yeah. I was so angry. Like, ooh, I was like, Omega, you. I'm like, listen.
I literally went, Omega, like out loud. Like I audibly reacted.
There is no droid that falls out of falls down the ocean after I just get pulled out that I'm going in for. It's not R2-D2. It's not BB-8. It isn't Babu fucking Frick. There's no.
Babu Frick's
no.
not a droid.
Okay,
I
but
don't give a
like
shit.
I just
Down
mean
in the
like
bottom of the ocean.
that's
not
a.
saving him.
I just mean like that's a character that I like. Really
Just kidding. I love Babu Frick.
But like I don't care if it's R2-C3PO. I'm not diving in there. Like, dude, no, we gotta fucking go.
Dude, but that's like
just
Omega's friend, though. Omega didn't have like any friends, bro.
Okay, hold up. That is a good point. They have been making a point about how like she grew up entirely alone, only with AZ. Okay, I'm a little bit more. It's a little more justified now. I wasn't completely thinking about it.
Colton, how would you have felt if they had killed AZ and kept whatever the fuck his name is alive?
You don't even remember your favorite droid's name,
Yeah.
and you know what? I'm not gonna tell you.
How would you have felt if like they had killed him there and Toto?
Fuck. Yeah.
I thought it was. Whenever I said it in my head the first time, I was like, that's not right. But how would you have felt if they kept him alive, but they fucking killed AZ?
I mean, honestly, I'm cool with the droid sacrifice. The droid sacrifice is always a good move for me. G11, awesome. AZ saving the Bad Batch and saving Omega with his dying mechanical breath. That would be epic. Like, that's cool with me. However, I'm extremely happy he is alive. In this moment,
that he survives here just to get killed in episode 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we please mention the score from this point onward? Honestly, the whole
no,
time.
I was gonna make sure to give like I have an idea later. Is all I'll say.
My God. Nut to whoever composed and did this.
The Kiner brothers.
Wow.
They also produced scored the Clone Wars. They stuck with the Bad Batch 2. Fantastic.
Wow.
At creating music for Star Wars. But here, Omega is like, I'm going off to AZ. And Hunter's like, fuck, no.
Fucking the fuck you're not.
She swims down, finds AZ and grabs him. I'm like, God damn it. God, what the fuck? And then Hunter's like, I'm going in. And Crosshair's like, nah, bitch. And I was like, why has he got to be so dramatic about this? Why he have to point the rifle at his fucking face? Why you got to do that just to aim it into the water a second later? You're a dick for that. You're just an asshole. Because I get that it's a TV show and it played out that way for the TV audience. However, practically, if you're standing near anyone and they take that moment to joke around with you and point a rifle in your fucking face, you're never friends with that person again.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But these dudes' guns are like normal. It's like an extension of their body, basically. It's basically them just putting their fist in someone's face.
True.
I mean, it's like the same thing. Like Crosshair, like that's his bread and butter. That gun right there,
I know, and I mean, Connor was just reacted as though it was like a fist in his face, like, "Oh God, are you going to shoot me?" Wrecker reacted the same way, like, "Oh, I might shoot you now." But yeah, Crosshair aims the rifle into the water, shoots a grapple down, latches onto AZ, pulls Omega and AZ to the surface, and I was like, okay, dope. And it was Crosshair, like that's cool. Hunter lifts her out of the water, and he sits in front of her. Wrecker eyes Crosshair with suspicion as he aims a blaster at him, and Crosshair tosses the rifle to Wrecker. And Tex says that they have a visual on the Marauder. Tells them to start paddling. The clones travel through the burning sea, and at daybreak they reach the landing platform where the Marauder is waiting, and Omega and the Bad Batch watch on as the wreckage that was Tapoka City is burning. And this smoke pattern had to be intentional.
Yep. This is what I was talking about.
Like, this looks exactly like what Luke's homestead on Tatooine looked like when it was burning. At least the smoke pattern did. And I feel like it's got to be this has happened more than once. And like this same thing happened to Ezra. His home got destroyed by the Empire.
It looked exactly like this too. pretty much.
Yeah. Like this is a parallel they like to do. Like Luke was the protagonist, Ezra was the protagonist, like the young.
If you're a protagonist, your home's probably not going to be there for much longer.
Yeah, I mean Leia, home gone. I know Han.
Damn. It's a lot of homes gone.
I don't think Finn even knows where he's from.
Anakin, his mom's dead, thus his home is gone.
True. Home is where the heart is, and his mother had his heart.
And then Padme had his heart, and she's also dead.
Also gone.
Now Palpatine has his heart. But
he lives forever.
Just like physically, like probably has like his heart in a jar or something weird.
No, like probably just like holding on to it.
Yeah, like literally physically. I mean,
it's
performing some Sith ritual.
It's completely
his stress ball.
Ash, but
it's his stress ball.
By this point, it's completely gone. But he's on fire.
Chest pains. Darth Vader's just sitting in a meeting somewhere with like Tarkin and Krennic. He's like, oh.
Could you imagine if that was like a force, like a Sith, like force power? They could just like reach in through the force and just be like, "I'm just gonna like squeeze your organs."
They probably could.
It's like with the force, just be like, "I'm gonna pump your heart in weird ways to make you feel weird."
Oh. I just felt the like sensation of someone ripping my heart. Like,
but Tech says that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Tech says that they should leave before the Empire scouts show up. So that's how Crosshair will get out of here. The Empire scouts. And Wrecker asks Crosshair, you coming with us? Crosshair says that none of this changes anything. And Hunter's like, you offered us a chance. This is your chance. And like, this was a good moment. Like, this was a moment that I needed to feel good about the show going forward. Crosshair inhibitor chip out, outwardly denying their invitation.
Yeah.
And I think he regretted it immediately.
Oh, dude. He looked back. Like,
Hard.
You saw the look on his face. He had like a quick like little eye movement, and then he looked back at the ship and then looked down. Like, the dude looked so sad. Like, I just watched it. Like, the dude looked so sad. Oh my god. This poor man. I don't know, he's just broken. He's just a broken man.
I do love Hunter's line here where he says they want different things, but that doesn't mean they have to be enemies. Like, Crosshair doesn't necessarily have to hunt them. Like, that's not something that has to happen. We mean you no harm. And I don't think the Bad Batch has any intention of trying to take down the Empire. So, like, there is no reason. Like, it's like the only reason you're chasing us at this point is because you know we're alive.
Yeah.
Think about how that makes you look, Crosshair, for just like a second.
It's just because it's the thing that's on its mind. It's never going to leave his mind ever. So he's either going to hunt them. There's no way he can just forget about them. Like, there's no way that dude can just be like, okay, I'm just going to go with the Empire now and be a mercenary, basically. Like,
yeah.
Nah.
I get you. But Omega nearby watching the city burn, Hunter approaches her and gives her a little pat on the shoulder and gives her that little half smile that's like, hey, I know this shit sucks, but at least we're alive. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're cool. You got us. Literal home might be gone, but you still got us. So let's get going. And the other clones climb aboard the Marauder, and Omega stands with Crosshair for a moment before running to join the others. And before leaving, she thanks Crosshair for saving AZ, and Crosshair says, consider us even. And before leaving, Omega tells Crosshair that he's still their brother, and he is her brother too. And Crosshair stands on that platform with just despair in his face. Later, several starfighters escort a transport to a forested mountain. And according to concept art, this mountain be Mount Tantus. And this mountain is in the heir to the Empire. It's a warehouse where Palpatine stores stuff, including cloning equipment, where they cloned Master Joris Seboeth. I never understood how to pronounce his name, never looked into it. It was a bitch to read his parts of that book because of that. However, it's a very exciting possibility here as we see that we land with an Imperial base in the mountain and clone commandos escort Nalase off the shuttle, and she is greeted by a medical officer who tells her that they admire her scientific talents. And she tells Nalase that the Empire has big things planned for her. And the troopers and the scientists escort Nalase inside the base. And we cut to credits. I also saw that these the clone commandos go on to become Palpatine's Imperial Royal Guard.
I saw that.
His red boys that chill with him in the Death Star. That's dope. That's super cool. I like that. I like that a lot. And it also implies that if these are Imperial Royal Guards, here with Nalase,
obviously those guards become his Imperial guards because they know what's going on there.
It's pretty important. You know what I'm saying?
It's either kill them or have them be your right hand, men.
Essentially.
Dang. That's awesome.
What a fucking season, bro.
No, yeah, like I know that we've had our fair share of gripes every now and then with certain choices, but all in all, this was 16 episodes of pure Star Wars. Like it was as fun. It was as fun as Star Wars has ever been. The best that Star Wars animation has ever been, I'd say. Like it's top tier in every regard. There were some not lulls throughout the season because I loved watching it every week, but it was like you had those one-off episodes, and those one-off episodes were fun as fuck because they were so damn Star Wars. I want to go around here, and I want to go with like an MVP of the season for you. Anyone involved with the Bad Batch, who made this season the best for you? Joe, I'll start with you.
I think an underrated character. I'm not going to go with the main characters. I think that's too easy. I'm going to go with Sid. Like Sid really although her storyline was just filler basically, like she pushed, some of the character development along. She helped, Omega kind of break out of her shell and be like, "Hey, I'm not going to take anything from nobody." Kind of like got her thinking in her own way. I think Sid had a lot bigger of an impact on the Bad Batch than a lot of people give her credit for, just because she just employed them for a little bit. But I think she did a lot for this season. I think that's what I'll go with, is Sid.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that angle there. Miles, what about you? Bitch 3 of the Bitches 4.
Fuck. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a character. What's the Imperial dude's name?
Rampart.
I feel like he being that he was a big part in like every single episode that involved Crosshair, especially, but in a lot of the other episodes too, he was just kind of always out and about, getting fucking with the Bad Batch or getting fucked over by the Bad Batch.
And he brought about the destruction of Kamino.
Yeah.
Like he can take the dub for that in the Imperial book.
His animation is sexy as well.
Yeah, he's a good-looking motherfucker in this. Damn shame he's a fascist.
Damn it!
He's just a soldier following orders, Colton.
I don't kiss fascists. Kyler, who is your MVP for the season?
I'm gonna say Hunter. And I think it's because a lot of the things that happen to them, he runs that group like the dad of the group. It's almost like you see him have to deal with not only what's happening, but rather than just dealing with it, I feel like he gets the brunt of the emotional toll from it, if you're following me. Like, I feel like he's the leader of the group. I think it's obvious that he's going to get a little more emotional depth and add a little more touch and sensitivity to the group. You've got brutes like Wrecker, synthezoid like robot type thing with
thing.
Hey guys,
yeah,
he's just a thing now.
So I just feel like that is so important, especially when you have Crosshair on the flip side of the equation, where Crosshair is like your bad guy with like the sympathetic story. Like you can feel bad for that character. On our main character side, on the, good side, I guess, then to have Hunter to like contrast that with and like show that. I just think that, and then also just I love Hunter. I love the action about him. I love how he like it's his wits. He's like he reminds me of like, he's like an Athena type character, like in the sense of like the way he fights. Like it's a strategy game. Like he is laying this all out, like this is my plan of action, this, and this, and that's what gets him through. It's his wits, it's his intelligence. I just think that's cool.
And another thing that I love about Hunter is that, like, for this show, he's the everyman. He is the person who we watch this show through in terms of lens. Like, it's like we see things the way Hunter sees them. The way like the off, like, this is a weird comparison, but I'd say he's like our Jim Halpert to The Office. Like, he's that to the Bad Batch. We've got all these kind of zany characters, but he's the one who grounds it and kind of brings it to a certain humanity. You know what I'm saying? Along with his relationship to Omega. However, like, you get my general point.
Yeah. Well, and also to kind of back that up a little bit, it like the things that we learned happened, we learned about them happening whenever Hunter learned about them happening. Like the best example of that was Omega and Wrecker, their fucking popcorn habit. We didn't have a fucking clue that was happening until we see Sid be like, oh yeah, and all that fucking popcorn that you guys are buying. And he's like, what fucking popcorn are you talking about? And that's whenever it cuts to them. It's the ritual after a mission.
Yeah. Boom. Those are the three signature wreckers for me. But yeah, Hunter, like another, and I know I oozed, I'm gonna go with mine now. I know I oozed over Omega earlier, and for me, she's the true MVP in the show, just because she brings such a light to the show that's like, it's such a great, character for the next generation of fans too. Like, it's like, that is so easily a character that I can see my little brother latching onto and being like, that is a character I want to see more as I grow up, which is like mad cool to think about. Like what our Boba Fett was like, seeing him in Attack of the Clones and stuff.
That's sick.
But for me, I'm gonna go with behind the scenes, and I'm gonna name those men who we talked about a second ago, the Kiner brothers. The soundtrack was the only thing in this show across the board, according to everybody, that had no complaints. That was the shit. Okay. Never missed once. It was a perfect soundtrack. And also, like, if you're active on Twitter, and I am certainly because of the podcast's Twitter, I have to promote and shit. So I'm all over Bad Batch Star Wars Twitter. And the Kiner brothers are extraordinarily active on social media. Like, they are very interactive with the fans of the show, with the fandom in general. They entertain theories. They like people's tweets. Like, they like to interact with the people because they know how important it is to everybody, because it's that important to them. And I think you can feel that in the soundtrack. Like, there are moments in the show that were so enhanced by that music. I know I referenced it last week whenever Crosshair's making that ploy with Hunter when he says a line and you hear the din-din. Yeah, dude, love that shit.
They're just they must just be true Star Wars fans, man. Like,
I have to be.
They have to be just through and through. Like, I don't know what they're like. I don't know. They have like a signature to the music, like, almost, and I don't know what it is, but it's like,
it's so fascinating, because here's the thing is that, like, creating Star Wars music isn't easy, because what you were trying to replicate in a way is John Williams and the London Symphony Orchestra. That is fucking absurd. So every single one of them, Ludwig Göransson in The Mandalorian, the Kiner brothers in the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch, they have to do their own thing. Like, they have to embrace the fact that they can't do that, but they're going to do something that reminds you of that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't know how many times, how many times at the end of the episode, the song that just, how it just fits what's going on so perfectly. Like if you have a devastating ending, it's way more silent and spaced out and slow. But then you have like the classic ending, the happy ending, the like the upbeat one, and it's just I don't know, just everything about the music in all the animated shows is just fantastic. I love the music.
Always great. Oh yeah, the Kiner brothers also did Rebels. They've done all Star Wars animation, Resistance, all the whole 9 yards. But yeah, they're mine. They're my MVP for this season of television.
Knowing that you can do that, I'm kind of surprised Joseph hasn't like changed his pick to whoever.
Dave Filoni.
No, solely whoever animated Hunter's hair.
That's true. Honestly, if there is a person responsible, that was your job, was Hunter's hair. You did a phenomenal job. You did a phenomenal job.
I want to kiss you because I want to kiss Hunter. Because of his hair.
It probably smells so good. Well, probably not because he's like a soldier. I imagine it smelling pretty good.
No, but like I can imagine like he cleans up.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be soft as hell too. Oh, yeah. Like I mean, like I've thought about Hunter's hair.
He'd rock a leather jacket for sure. I could see.
Oh, he would. He would absolutely rock a leather jacket.
I see him in like
But it'd be like a grizzled one, like one with character, you know, some life in it, like some like.
Oh, it's
like a bomber jacket,
you're like, damn, dude, this guy gets into some shit. I wonder, you know.
Damn, he just gets hotter every second. What else you guys got to say about this season finale, or maybe this whole season? You know, this is wrapping up our 5th show together, obviously for now.
Wow, I guess
season 1.
I would like to end it with just a prediction. This is my prediction for the grand scheme. And it is that Grogu will be the link between Snoke and Palpatine. We will find out what happened to Grogu these 50 years that he's been missing and then wound up in that one place. I think that is what we're going to get into. And
a little less than 50 years, Miles. I can tell you're doing the math in your head over there.
It's quite a few.
I'm really bad with time, as you can tell.
No, it's more like 20.
20 years.
25.
Still, it's a long time.
That's just like I was
just chilling there or chilling somewhere.
I was thinking the reason I was like doing the math in my head because I was like, am I just like thinking about this wrong in the timeline? Am I forgetting?
No, I was willing to run with it, but I knew Miles wasn't gonna let.
I was gonna let it slide. I was just gonna like do the math in my head and be like, wait a minute.
You know, honestly, I just kind of pick a number and I just stick with it.
And who can blame you?
Like that's honestly what I do. But that's my prediction: is Grogu will be the link between Snoke and Palpatine, and we will get the first inclination of that in the Bad Batch, whether it comes in a later season, maybe not season 2. That is my prediction for right now. And I think it's pretty sane prediction at that. Not too wacky.
Yeah. No, I think it's fair. Before this show, I would have considered it a little more out there, but given that it seems like this show is heading in a direction where it's like the Empire did stuff with clones the entire time the Empire existed. You know, like they worked on something. So
it's fairly sane, especially when compared to
Ultron is Hayward.
Ultron is Hayward. 2 Wandas, you know.
Obviously, I have to throw in some that are distractions and out there, obviously.
Naturally. Miles, any last thoughts here?
What'd you say?
Any last thoughts here on the season or the finale?
Not really. I mean, I enjoyed it. Disappointed Omega's still alive, but fucking joking. No, it was good. They didn't leave us with the massive cliffhanger, which I love because I
appreciate that. Great,
yeah, appreciate it. Getting answers.
I am not built for a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I'm fine with cliffhangers if it's like going into episodes. If it's like,
oh yeah, but end of season.
End of season cliffhangers, go fuck yourself. I'm not waiting a year and a half to get the answer to this cliffhanger.
We all waited for Endgame. It makes it exciting.
If we knew it was a 2-part movie. If you go into a 2-part movie, you got to expect something not great's happening.
We were still all very distraught.
That's for sure.
All initial reactions were, we have to wait now? That's everyone's reaction. I mean, but it's like, it makes it fun. Makes it
It
fun.
makes it fun. It makes the wait is always sweet because of the payoff. You know what I'm saying? But KBZ, Kyler Barnett, any last thoughts here on the Bad Batch season 1 or this season finale?
No, I mean, kind of like Miles said, I really liked the Bad Batch. I just was in the middle of watching Clone Wars like really religiously when this show started, so it was kind of like perfect to pick up and start, like catching up when seeing things, and just that like really helped me, I guess, grip with the show a little more. I was much more like just into the Clone Wars, just in that, setting. So this show really just smacked for me at a unparalleled level. But I did love the animation. You hit it on the head with the score. I'm a big audio guy. I think the scores can just do so much to elevate little things. This show, in the grand scheme of things, may not get the love it deserves, but like little things like having a great score, having the animation look that good, it gets really easy to suddenly draw people into the Star Wars content, which I think is great. And lastly, I'm just really excited for Visions. I have never really watched anime much, but this does look incredible, and I definitely want to give it a shot.
This is going to be the gateway also, by the way. Like, I have a feeling that, like, if you like Star Wars and you haven't really gotten into anime yet, and then you watch Visions, that's going to be the branch that's going to
come over to the dark side.
Come on over, everybody.
Come on.
Me and Kyle,
I'm not too deep in yet. I'm not too deep in yet, but
however, I am excited for Visions and also Book of Boba. I cannot wait to see anything that has to do with any Mandalorian type stuff. I'm just so ready to see that. I'm so ready to see some live action Star Wars content too. Not that I'm tired of the animated at all, but man, the Mandalorian, I've missed it so much. I keep seeing it pop up as like, you should watch this on my Disney Plus, and it's like,
and man, I've been having the same, because I've been going back and listening to our Mandalorian rewatch episodes just to like kind of relive what we were feeling as season 2 was rolling out. Like I listened to the season 2 premiere just to like see where our head was at, where the hell did we think it was going, and it's funny to listen to the things that was like, holy shit! Like we were just like talking about it, and like it just kind of plays out that way sometimes, or other times it's like we're just ridiculous.
Us?
Yeah,
no.
Believe it or not.
No.
But no, it's different. It's different when it's live action. We are the Bad Batch Bitches 4.
Yeah.
This is the Bitches 4. But there is something just so different about live action Star Wars. And I cannot wait for the Book of Boba, because whenever that rolls around, obviously we'll still be doing this. I am interested to figure out what's next for us here. After the Bad Batch, I know we're going to fill this gap before something else.
What if?
What if?
You think you want to do? You want to do weekly? What if has
turned into a show that I did not think it would be. It's my favorite content out this year. It's not even close. Like this has been my most enjoyable content of this year.
Did you watch the T'Challa Star-Lord episode?
Awesome. Oh my God. Like this show is amazing. Like
no, yeah, and like it just runs with that what if idea, and like to like extreme extents. It's like, what if this massive thing didn't happen? Like
I don't want to spoil anything for.
I know, that's why I'm trying to be a little subtle.
I watched that one.
I've not watched the T'Challa one yet.
Okay. I mean, it's just like certain characters that are in there, you'd be like, wait a minute, what? wait, you're going to be like...
I can't, and yeah. I'm excited.
I don't want to say it because I want you to have the reaction.
I think we should talk about what if. I think we should do it in chunks, like 3 episodes at a time.
I'm down with that, but I think
1, 2, 3,
it deserves 4, 5, to be talked about, though. Like this show
absolutely.
We'll
be doing something. We'll be doing something. I always intended to talk about it, just not scene by scene breakdown the way we do with this other stuff.
Yeah.
But fuck, guys, what a joy it was to spend these last 3.5 months discussing Star Wars: The Bad Batch. At the start of this, 16 episodes ago, we had not yet seen an episode of Loki, which is wild to think about. About 10 episodes into the show, we had not seen the finale.
Were we still watching?
Wow.
Was Falcon and the Winter Soldier over yet?
Yeah, it had ended like the week prior,
Yeah.
a week or two prior. But yeah, so we had a little bit of overlap there, and I'm sure it won't be the last time we do. But it was a joy. Bad Batch Bitches, Season 1, in the books.
Wow.
The Bitches 4 signing off. I was Colton Robertson, and this was the Penny Bloom podcast. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, buddy.
That bitch Joseph, that's me. I'm glad to be here. Can't wait just to get back doing whatever we doing next.
Whatever we doing next, we gonna do it. Announcement coming soon. We'll get it straightened out because here's the thing, guys. I would like to still do this weekly. We'll just figure out what the fuck we'll do every week. But I was also joined by Miles fucking Buttress. Thank you very much, homie.
Final time for this show, or for at least this season of this show. Thanks for having me, man. Happy to be back anytime. Who knows when it'll be?
I mean, I'm hoping next week even. Hoping next week even. However, no matter what, we will be reuniting within the next couple weeks. Miles, your homework assignment is to watch The Suicide Squad.
Oh, hey, watch Suicide Squad and Black Widow this week, so don't worry about it.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking loved the fucking, what's the...
Hand. Bird. Weasel.
Weasel. Oh.
Dude, honestly, might be the greatest pop culture character.
The weasel could swim.
And then whenever they're walking through,
Davidson, is this a werewolf next to me? Oh, I'm not cool with a werewolf sitting right next to me. Oh my god, what is? Oh man, that weasel.
Oh, is that a werewolf?
I've always wanted to meet a werewolf.
Yeah,
boys.
Just for that, real quick. I told my dad whenever we were watching it, I was like, I'm really happy that they stopped, like, DC has really tried to go like the serious route with their movies. They just went all the way with we're going to make this as fucking ridiculous as possible. And I loved it.
Maybe we just make that the next thing we do.
Maybe.
You guys want to declare it? The live commentary of the Suicide Squad is
Let's declare it.
Let's declared. It has been declared by the Bitches 4.
Bard.
The bitches 4 do declare that the next project will be the Suicide Squad live commentary. We were also joined by Kay Beasy, Kyler, Barnett. Thank you very much, homie.
Absolutely.
Again, this was the Penny Bloom podcast. Head to patreon.com/CoWroteBloom where you will find over 16 hours of exclusive content and a quick little 15-minute introduction on the beginning of this episode. It's a quick one. It's a fun one. However, if you're not subscribed already, who cares if this one was just 15 minutes? You have 16 other hours to hear. And I know for a fact most of you are not there. So do it.
And
you're missing out on
bullshit.
Of bullshit and chaos. Head to Twitter, follow at Penny Bloom Pod, follow on Instagram at Penny Bloom Podcast, and lastly, peace, love, and bloom, and always praise the Bitches 4.
Bitches